What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Semi-Intoxicated Sports Report. He's Gates Emoji, I'm Emerson Hip, and thank you all for tuning in.
We're back.
We're back. A little 3-4 week layoff? Has it been 4 weeks? No, 3 weeks.
Yeah, I want to say when I
It was mid-Feb.
It was like Feb 13th
Yes,
or something like that.
yes, mid-February, so 3 week layoff, but yeah, we're back, and
Yeah, cheers.
cheers.
Good to see you.
Yes, happy to be back.
Yeah.
Bureau's still hitting?
Beer's still hitting.
Which one are you going with right now?
I'm going with the Edge Hill Hazy IPA.
Edge Hill Hazy.
I think this might be the last episode that I am going to be sober on.
All right.
Because, it's already March. Hard to believe that it's already March.
It's crazy.
Because, I got to say, the first 2 weeks or so of not drinking was tough.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, pretty daunting task I gave on myself.
Yeah.
But it's gone by really quick. That's the one thing about February is shortest month of the year, so it goes the quickest, obviously.
Yeah.
We're already in March, and I'm already close to my goal, and proud of myself.
Yeah, good for
Proud
you.
of myself. So,
good for you.
how about you? What are you drinking? What is that?
I just did a little gin and soda. I did a splash of Aperol for some flavor.
Okay.
I bought this gin at Lawler's today. I've never seen it before, but
like
it's
the bottle.
from France. Yeah, really snazzy bottle.
Let me get a little whiff of it.
Yeah. It's nice. It's got little floral notes, but not like, yeah.
For gin, it doesn't it doesn't make.
It's not offensive.
No, not exactly. It doesn't burn my nose, which is nice.
Well, it's not like that, typical, Tanqueray, Bombay, just like punch in the face of juniper.
And what made you want to get this? You just saw it. And you were like,
Well, I was gonna go get a new bottle of gin because Dad's got Tanqueray in the cabinet.
He's a tank guy.
He's a tank guy. I'm not really a tank guy. I don't hate it, but it's not my go-to.
What's your issue with it?
It's too heavy in the juniper. I like a little balance, like with some floral notes, some citrus, and Tanqueray is like one of those old school classics that is just like, tastes like a pine tree. Yeah.
Yeah. So whenever I think of gin, hear the word gin, or taste, smell, anything, I always think of visiting Santa Barbara as first place. Did you know the first place?
No,
yeah, you're lucky.
I kind of wish I did. Though.
It's like when you walk, it's just like much like his second place too.
The second place was bad.
The first place was really bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
It's like a college,
yeah,
house,
exactly.
Yeah.
And so I remember it was like Deltopia or something like that, and we're taking shots in his kitchen, and it's freezing cold gin, and it's what's the gin that's
not Gordon's?
No, it's Seagram's.
Oh, Seagram's, yeah.
Seagram's, and it tastes just like pine needles. It smells disgusting,
Yeah.
And I was already hammered this time, so I think that's why I remember it so much. It's just
because it hit you wrong.
Very distinct taste of the Seagram's gin I'll never forget.
Yeah. No, bad gin is not good.
And Seagram's gin is bad.
Seagram's makes bad products. Let's just put it that way.
which means
other than Seagram 7, I fuck with Seagram 7.
Okay. So if they make bad products, that means they make bad gin.
Exactly.
Okay.
They probably make it very cheap. It's probably why it was in Arb's freezer.
Well, yeah, college. Yeah. Also drinking, natty ices back then too.
Oof. Natty.
Which I'm sure Garrett will tell you it was like, $20 for a 30-pack or whatever.
Yeah.
But, if you're in college, that's the biggest bang for your buck right there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Those were bad too, though.
No, not good at all.
Like, or Keystone Ice, maybe. I think they had that too there.
Keystone, I think, was big down there. The ice, though. Not
Keystone
light.
Ice, yeah.
Because remember we would get the Keystone Light for like $15 for a 30-pack?
Mm. But, yeah, Keystone Ice is different.
Yeah.
It's
like a kind of
animal.
the slightly heavier, boozier one, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got more, was it ABV?
Yeah.
More boozy.
Probably 5% rather than 4%. Good stuff.
Because regular Keystone Light, that was...
It was like,
that was the drink of high school.
Poor man's Coors Light.
If you ask me, if someone says, what was like the drink you drank the most in high school? I'd probably say Keystone.
It'd have to be up there.
Keystone Light.
I think it would be up there with Bud Light. Like those two, pretty close.
MGD, remember that? Remember those days?
Yeah, but we didn't drink them that much.
It was seemed like 6 months.
Yeah.
I think we just liked them because the cans were cool.
Oh, yeah.
And you could pop it with your key.
Does MGD still exist?
It's a good question. I think so.
I think it does, but it's not what it used to be.
Yeah.
The brand, anyways. But yeah.
I was in CVS a couple weeks ago, Man, we used to get booze from there all the time. Because I looked at the corner where all the booze is, and I'm like, man, I spent a lot of time in that corner right there just looking.
Yeah.
Just looking for what I want.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of Keystone. And I think we used to get MGDs there, too.
I could see that.
I want to say.
Yeah. I could see CVS being the store that carried it. Just put it that way.
I should have looked to see if they had MGD.
Yeah.
It wouldn't shock me if MGD wasn't around anymore.
Miller's, like, sort of premium beers are actually, I feel like, the best ones. Like, High Life was pretty good, too.
High Life was cool, but,
Yeah.
I mean, they had that... You never see High Life in a can, right?
They
Or do
exist.
you?
They do
Yeah.
exist, yeah.
Because I always remember them being obviously like in the 32 ounce
Right.
or the skinny bottle.
Yeah. I when I was working for the distributing company, we had that as one of our products, and I mostly saw it in large format, like 24 ounces in the cans, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they would do both.
Yeah, they do make the can. I don't know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen the can.
But I wouldn't see the 12 ounce cans very often.
No.
Here and there, yeah. All right, it's we're in the thick of NBA season. We got Thunder Grizzlies on right now. Big little matchup in the West. Cavs beat the Heat earlier. That was a pretty good game. Came down to the wire.
So
They clinched the playoff spot actually already.
Cavs still have the best record in the NBA.
They do, yeah. So they
only
clinched
have 10
playoff
losses.
spot.
They only have 10 losses.
Yeah, clinched playoff spot with 20 games to go. That's pretty crazy.
So what do you... I mean, if you're the Cavs, I mean, you still got to play because you still want the positioning. Depending on, I don't know, I'd have to look how far they are ahead of the second seed.
I believe they're, I want to say give or take 6 games above the Celtics right now.
So it's like, not that they want to, but they can't completely shut it down yet.
No. What does it say?
So yeah, they're...
Does it say games GB 6.5, 7? What does it say?
Oh, GB 8, yeah.
8? Oh, 8. Wow. Yeah. So they got a comfy lead.
Well, 8 in the... Yeah, so 8 in the loss column, 8 in the win column.
Yeah.
So it's 8.
Yeah.
Because you can't completely shut it down yet. Because the Celtics are good enough to where they could get you.
Right, and you definitely want to have that home court advantage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Throughout the playoffs if you can. But they've got some room to rest guys if need be. Mm-hmm. So I could see them starting to do that pretty soon. Mm-hmm. Hell of a year they're having though.
Absolutely. I mean, I just you think about it and you're like, oh, it's the Cavs. Like they haven't been good in a long time. It was like how last year I really slept on them. Yeah. Because I didn't, you kind of forget about it.
They're a different team now. I feel like they've gotten some more continuity. They got. I think Kenny Atkinson's a damn good coach. I think that was a good pickup for them. Yeah. And he's taking them to another level. But yeah, they're kind of doing, in a way, they're doing the Denver route where they're like letting things play out over seasons rather than jumping ship after a couple of years like a lot of teams do these days. All right, you ready to jump into the news?
Let's go for it.
All right. I want to talk about the Four Nations face-off because that was fun. Happened during, replaced the NHL All-Star game, so to speak. Canada did beat the U.S. in the final 3-2 in overtime. Connor McDavid with the game winner.
Like you said, and you put it perfectly, nothing wrong with losing to the better team and the best player in the world.
Right. It's
or the best player in the world hitting the game-winning shot.
Right. It's insane how, parallel this is to when Canada beat the United States in the gold medal game back in 2010, and Sidney Crosby scored the game winner in overtime to win 3-2 exactly.
Who was probably at the time consensus one of the best players in the world.
The best guy, I would say, at the time. Yeah, so that was pretty epic. So good for him. I mean, obviously, the United States was on their high horse after beating Canada the first game they played, which was pretty awesome.
The Instagram hype videos for the USA were getting me going. I was like, dude, we're winning this game. Yeah, and of course, they didn't.
They played well. I think watching the game, I don't know how much you saw of it, but it seemed like Canada was the better team. I think the U.S., even though they had a 2-1 lead, were lucky to get it to overtime because Canada was giving it to them. They had the more chances, better pressure all game long. But yeah, I think it was fun. I think it was good for the game. I think it got people that you wouldn't normally see interested in hockey watching it, which is what the NHL needs badly.
Well, and I think that's why this worked out so well because when you put it in terms of countries versus country, like you said, people who don't even care about hockey, you're like, you know what? I might watch this because it's my country going up against another country.
Right. It's kind of similar to like World Cup, U.S. The U.S. market doesn't care about soccer that much. It's growing a little bit, but it doesn't care about soccer that much. But when the United States makes the World Cup, then they start watching, even though they're not that good.
And I think it's the NHL knocked it out of the park. They could not ask for a better outcome than what happened.
Yeah.
And it's just so ironic because of what we'll get into the NBA All-Star game later in All-Star weekend.
Yeah.
The NBA fell flat on their face and the NHL flourished. And I don't think anybody could have really guessed that going in before both these things happened.
Yeah.
Although we know the NBA All-Star game is shit.
Yeah, I know it's been that way for a long time.
But I think that's why, and I know it's tough because the players have to make it to be an All-Star, but I think they should go World versus U.S.
Dude, I think it's time.
I think it's
a perfect time to do it. Like, there's a lot of great international players right now in the NBA.
So I think that's what needs to happen. But also, it's like you can't just have people who aren't All-Stars just playing the games. You need bodies.
Yeah.
That's the only issue. Is like you have to have people who...
I see what you're saying.
Players who are good enough to actually make it to the game.
Yeah, worthy.
Because, I'm sure you can have a starting five for the... At least starting five for the world part.
Right.
If you only have like 8 guys, it's not really going to work.
Right. Yeah.
Because
I can see where you're going. Like, if Andrew Wiggins is your 12th guy on the bench, like, is he an All-Star? I mean, I know he's Canadian, but is he an All-Star?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So it's like you have to get there, like deserve to be there.
Yeah.
Or maybe you don't. Maybe
who knows?
Maybe you don't because the NHL, all those guys who played weren't all NHL All-Stars, were they?
No. Like Finland and Sweden, like their bottom half of their rosters. Definitely not all-star caliber players.
So I guess in the NBA they could just do that and say, you know what, we have our guys who, got elected. Yeah. It's going to be part of their career. It's always going to be a part of what they've done. Yeah. But instead of having these shitty all-star games, we're going to have World versus U.S. and we're going to try to do what the NHL just did.
Yeah, I think what's different about what this is the NHL wasn't like saying this was an all-star tournament or game or anything like that. It was just we're going to take 4 of the best countries that we can grab to do a little tournament. I guess what you could do, and people may not like this, you could name a true all-star team, and then just not play a game with those teams. Play the U.S. versus the world kind of thing instead. Also, they're talking. Well, actually, we'll get to it later. But I was going to mention the 1v1 tournament that's been talked about, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, nonetheless. Good little, what Gary Bettman, the commissioner of the NHL, called a little appetizer for next year when the NHL players will be playing in the Olympics.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which that's going to be legit. And hopefully Russia gets to play as a team because they deserve to be in this tournament and they would have been a legitimate threat to both Canada and the United States.
And do we think, I don't think, and I want to know if you agree, if the U.S. didn't make it to the final, would it have been as big? I mean, I'm sure you would have watched, and I might have watched the final if it would have been Sweden versus Canada. Or whatever.
Sure, yeah.
But I think if the U.S. making it made it that much more popular.
It helped tremendously. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's not disputable.
No, I don't think there's any question about that. I mean, I think the United States, at least, at the very least, they had to play a competitive third game, like in the group stage, like at least get to that point. Like if they lost the first 2 games, this would not have been good, been bounced out right away. But yeah,
no. Because like you said, true hockey fans, like you're much more of a true hockey fan than I am. But I still think even I would have tuned in a little bit at least to the final if it would have been anybody else besides the U.S.
Right.
But since, like you said, the U.S. was in it. Makes people from the U.S. want to watch it more because, well, it's my country.
Right.
I want to see if we can beat Canada because it's something that is tough for us to do against Canada.
Right. My only fear about this thing in the future is the fact that there were some guys that have some, injuries coming out of it. Like Matthew Tkachuk is going to be out for the rest of the regular season. That's not good. Yeah. I mean, the Panthers fans are probably not very happy about that. Yeah. I mean, they're probably going to make the playoffs anyways, and it sounds like he should be ready to go for that. But yeah,
I do understand that.
That's the only thing that could deter this from being a legitimate tournament going forward.
But those guys know that going into it.
I think they knew that. And
they could choose. They could have chosen. I don't want to risk injury. I'm not going to be in it. Yeah. These guys chose. Or at least Tkachuk chose, I'm gonna represent my country and I'm gonna do this.
Yeah. I think though you see it happen and that makes it a little brings it to the forefront of the mind. So that's my only fear there. Motorsports, Daytona 500 happened since the last time we were on. William Byron got the W for the 2nd straight year. Big for the 2014 there.
Yeah. I got to say, since we're on the motorsports category now,
Yeah.
that's a great DuPont
Thank
hat
you.
that you got. If you
If you're watching.
Just watching. Or
Yeah.
at least go on YouTube and check it out because it's really nice. Shout out to your favorite racer, or at least it was growing up.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon, the man. Vallejo's finest.
Vallejo's finest. One of them.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
One of them, yeah. Him and Fonzarelli, dude. And
Bill Buckner.
Joey Chestnut. Isn't he Vallejo?
Yeah. I guess Bill Buckner was like probably more from
He was
Napa.
more Napa, yeah.
It's kind of like me, born in Vallejo from Napa. But apparently,
You're not allowed to say that.
I'm not allowed to say I'm born from Vallejo.
I'm born in Santa Rosa, dude.
Yeah, you're born in Santa Rosa. Like if you told somebody you were born in Napa, that would not be correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Technically, you're right. Yeah.
Technically,
you're right.
Give a shout out Byron.
Yeah.
I mean, winning it.
That's pretty big.
When was the last time someone won it back to back?
I meant to look that up and I didn't do it, but yeah, it's not an easy race to win 2 years in a row. I mean, you kind of got to get lucky to win. I want to say Denny Hamlin might have done it because I know he's pretty good on the super speedways. But
I want to give a shout out to Jimmy Johnson, not the head coach, but the racer.
Yeah,
because he got third place.
He did
at Daytona. That's I mean, obviously he's not what he was. He's not going to be what he was.
He's not even full-time driver anymore.
But that's pretty. I mean, I'm sure that made him feel good.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Very cool.
And I think for that race, he was driving a really cool car that had Shaq's logo on the hood of it.
Like, I think you're right.
The dunking logo. Yeah. So I thought that was cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
I like how Shaq's getting. I mean, Shaq's dipping his toe in everything, but it's cool that he's dipping his toe in.
Oh, he is the most versed human in
Yeah.
in the world, maybe.
Yeah, he's the general.
The general, yeah.
Icy hot.
I should say the most versed person in like the self promotion world.
No, he's great at it. Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Since then, we've had 2 races, and my boy, ring that bell. Christopher Bell's won both of them.
Not Hell's Bells.
That's the name of my team. Thank you.
Terrible.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, feeling dangerous?
Feeling dangerous.
I'd be feeling good too. You kidding me? Kyle Larson, where you at? Brad Keselowski, get your AARP membership, right, bud? You're done. You're toast.
Do you want to hear about the NASCAR standings in the house pool? I mean, I am number 1.
I do want to say something about Daytona.
Yeah.
I understand they've been doing the same thing for years, and they started at the same time for a long time, but I am sick and tired of this race getting rained out.
It is pretty hilarious.
It happened this year, correct?
Well, it got delayed, yeah.
Delayed, okay.
Yeah.
But I can't. I feel like in the past, or when you were living over at Dover and even Rubicon,
Yeah.
we were getting ready for Daytona, and it was rained out.
Definitely a few years since we've been at least twice it's been moved to Monday. I think.
And it just, I know they're not going to move it, but it's just annoying I'm sure all NASCAR fans feel the same way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a problem. Like, you could put that race anywhere on the calendar, and it's just Florida. Like, you don't know what the fuck you're going to get, Yeah. I guess maybe it's more likely, early in the year, but still, yeah.
And it's just, and obviously it's their biggest race.
Yeah.
And it's hard as a fan, or someone who likes to watch the last 20 laps,
Right.
being like, man, I'd wait till tomorrow or wait later on.
Yeah.
It just it
didn't wrap up till probably.
It was late.
It was 7:00-ish our time, so that would have been 10 p.m. their time.
Maybe
even later than that, honestly. But
I mean, who loves that? Beer concessions.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I mean, at least as a fan, if you're at Daytona and it goes until 10 their time,
yeah.
At least you know you get your money's worth.
Right.
Like you're there.
That's true.
You're there.
I mean, it's on my bucket list to go, and I know for a fact, like, I'm gonna have to buy a hotel room that gets me to Tuesday morning, just with the chances. Like, you because it may not be in the forecast when you leave, but it's gonna have a chance still to rain. By the time you get there.
I mean, maybe there has, and I don't know if you know this off the top of your head. Has there ever been an instance where Sunday it rained, Monday it rained, and they had to race Tuesday, or how do they do that?
In my lifetime, I don't remember ever seeing a Tuesday race, except for like that COVID year where they did it on purpose.
Okay.
But I don't think I've ever seen a Tuesday race. Definitely Monday races, obviously.
Or would they have to? It's so hard because it's such a big race. Like, what would they do in that situation?
I mean, I think they would stick around until they
just could race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless it got to the point where it's like there's rain in the forecast for the next 7 days,
Yeah.
But
Hopefully it never gets to that.
Yeah.
Going to Daytona would be great. It would be.
I want to do it at some point.
Be fun. I would like to go to any kind of oval track.
Yeah.
Or
yeah, I've been to one. Went to Fontana when that was still open.
I mean, I'm sure it's not that fun. I mean, the road course here in Sonoma's nice, but it just be a different kind of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and being at like a
racing.
big like stadium style, like I want to go to Bristol because that's a Coliseum. That would be fucking sweet, and you could see every part of the track.
It's a short track, right?
Yeah, half mile.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also on the NASCAR bucket list. Also, speaking of racing, F1 season starts next weekend. Won't be going to Monaco that weekend, but yeah, it's back.
I have agreed to be part of the F1 fantasy group. And I love Zach. I love Joanna. I love that they want me a part of this, but I immediately regretted saying that I'm going to join this again.
Well, I mean, to be honest, you can. It is one of those things where you can set it and forget it. It doesn't take that much effort, unless you. I mean, if you want to be really dedicated and like pay attention, you can do it that way too. But
it's just hard for me to. It's like even with like NASCAR, I'm finally like really trying to get into it. But like F1, I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's like for me, it's like trying to follow soccer. It just doesn't process.
It's not kicking.
Doesn't process my brain. You know, it doesn't scratch the itch.
Yeah, I feel it.
But I'm still gonna try.
Yeah.
I told him I'd give him one more year, and if I don't feel it anymore after this year, then I might be like, you know what, shooting the deuces.
Right. There's a couple things that I have a hard time with F1. Is one, the races are at ass crack of dawn, and I'm just not getting up for that. I'm sorry.
No, absolutely not.
And then I just like watching on tape delay is also because like I open up my ESPN app and I see the results right away. Like even if I don't have any following on F1, I see it right away. So that already gets ruined. And the racing is not that close, Like NASCAR, I know they've kind of manipulated it a little bit, but it works. In F1, there's a lot of races where it's 5, 10, 15, 20 second leads by the end of the race, and I don't know, that's just not that exciting to me.
No.
No.
Like, the only sport I would get up for that early and watch my team is the NFL.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Like I wouldn't get up at 4:30 and watch a Giants game or a Sharks game or a Kings game. I just wouldn't.
It'd have to be really a special event.
But they wouldn't do that.
But they wouldn't do that. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Like even like those Europe, like the England games when it's on at 6:00 our time, which is at 4, or it's not. It's early, but not like 4:00 early. Like I'd get up for those.
Sure. Yeah. If they were doing that every week, though, I'd probably get pissed off and be over it.
I wouldn't get up and watch NASCAR at 4:30 in the morning.
Hell no, not a fucking chance.
Yeah. I'd probably set my alarm clock to be like, well, what time is like the last 20 laps going to be?
Right. All right. Champions League updates. PSG in the last knockout round, playoffs round, or whatever you want to call it, made easy work of Brest. That was easy. They won 10-0 on aggregate, which was fucking insane. They won 7-0 in that second game. Also, the defending champs, Real Madrid, they knocked out the 2023 champions, Manchester City, 6-3 on aggregate, which is was a big early round matchup, but Sal's boys got it done. And speaking of them, they took the first leg of their round of 16 matchup over Atletico Madrid, their rivals from across town. I found out today that their stadiums are less than 10 miles apart.
Wow.
It was pretty crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah. They won that first leg 2-1. Leg 2 is next Wednesday at Atletico. And then back to PSG today. Heartbreaking loss at home to Liverpool, 1-0 in the first leg of that matchup. They had a goal taken away from offsides that was like the slimmest of margin, and it wasn't even like it didn't even affect the play either, which is the worst part about it. And then they also had a scoring opportunity that they totally botched. Should have been 2-0 at half. Had a potential red card that a lot of the experts were saying during and after the game that should have been called, that wasn't called anything at all, that could have affected the match. Tough one. They played really well, but just came up empty and gave up a cheap goal late. And they're going to head to Anfield next Tuesday for leg 2. Okay. See if they can pull off a miracle.
Vamos PSG.
Vamos PSG.
I like how that's kind of just taken on a life of its own.
Yeah, it's here.
Gotta love it.
Mm-hmm.
On to some NFL news. Your 49ers traded Deebo Samuel to the Washington Commanders for a 5th round pick.
See ya.
it surprises me that he's not going to be a part of any kind of future possible Super Bowl winning teams. Because I just feel like he was such a good player, and obviously he went to 2 with you guys, and he was close twice. Didn't happen, so it's hard to believe that he's not going to be a part of the organization anymore. Because I feel like I feel like fans loved him. I mean, I know he had a really bad year last year, but you can't say that he wasn't a good player for the Niners overall.
Oh, he was a great Niner, and I think most Niner fans will feel that way when they think about Deebo Samuel. It definitely wasn't a great ending. He, the last few years, he's been a little whiny, if you will. But yeah, no, he had a fantastic career with the Niners. His rookie year, they went to the Super Bowl. He was a huge part of that 21 team that made it to the NFC Championship game. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, he did a lot of great things for the 49ers. Didn't work out in the end with a ring, but I don't think he can. I don't think he'll look back on his time with the Niners and think that it wasn't a positive experience.
I wouldn't say, depending on what your definition is, but like his time with Niners, I don't think was a failure.
No.
I mean, you didn't win the Super Bowl, which I guess you could say is a failure, but only one team wins.
Right. And there's only been like 3 different teams that have won since he's been in the league.
So when I think of Deebo, and also I'll ask you real quick, 5th round pick. Do you like that for the Niners?
I mean,
did you want more? I mean, obviously you want more, but did you?
I didn't think they were going to get much more than like. I mean, if they got a 3rd, I would have felt like that would be a steal. 4th, okay, 5th.
So you think it was?
I think it was
pretty fair for his.
Yeah, about right. Yeah.
So when I think of Deebo, I think of that touchdown run he had against my Cowboys. I think it was the wild card game.
That was a pretty good one. Yeah.
I mean, the play. I think before that play happened, he's like, "Give me the ball."
Yeah.
And he made it work.
Housed it.
And now I have to deal with him on the Commanders for twice a year, which I already know he's going to torment the Cowboys somehow. I already know. Maybe not. I don't know how the Commanders are going to use him, but for Washington, coming off of making the championship game, I think it's a pretty good.
I like the pickup for him.
I think it's a good pickup.
Yeah, I mean he's a unique weapon. It'll be. I mean, Cliff Kingsbury had a great year calling plays for the Commanders last year. He'll be back, so I think I'm interested to see how they deploy him. Like, is he going to be still that same player that he was in Shanahan's offense, or how does Cliff go about using him? Yeah. But yeah, I like the addition. I think adds some versatility to their offense.
Would you in the future rock a Deebo Samuel jersey? 19? Not one. You're not a one guy, are you?
Nah, definitely not a one guy. I knew right when he took number 1 that his career was going to go down. But no, I mean, I like Deebo. I actually, he was for a little while maybe my favorite player. I've always loved Kittle, but no, I don't know if I would ever rock a Deebo jersey.
The Jets, they released Devontae Adams. No really surprise there. He's just going to go where Aaron Rodgers is.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I think the Aaron Rodgers saga is going to extend well into the summer. I'm curious to see if he's going to be willing to wait that long to figure out where he wants to go. But he's still a good player, man. He had like 85 catches and 14 games.
If he was the Cowboys, I wouldn't mind.
I don't think any team would mind having him. And they're probably not going to have to pay him that much. I assume that there was some kind of buyout in that release. So
where's he going to go? The Chiefs?
That would be pretty fucking lame. I think I've heard like Chargers would be a good fit. Yeah. I could see that. They need a receiver. I don't know. I mean, any team could use Devontae Adams, but it's like, are you willing to fork it over, or do you have the situation that he's interested in too?
Yeah. DK Metcalf requested a trade from the Seahawks. That's good for the NFC West and for your Niners.
Yeah, I mean, see ya, dude.
Yeah. And they released Tyler Lockett today too.
I saw that. That was interesting. Yeah.
Tyler Lockett he's a good player.
Yeah. Very, very productive.
Might be a little long in the tooth, but I think he's not as good as Devontae Adams, but I think he could still be beneficial for a team that picks him up.
Yeah. Well, I think the emergence of Jackson Smith and Jigba probably kind of making those decisions easier. Yeah. I mean, DK wanted to get out. That's interesting. I mean, he's a good player, but he's also feels like he's a little one-dimensional. He just he's a catch and traffic and deep ball guy. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but he's still a good player.
Still, yeah. I mean, he's a weapon for sure. I thought about it too. As I obviously would love to see him not be on the Seahawks anymore as a Niner fan, but I don't ever remember him being a huge factor in any game where the Seahawks beat the Niners.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say it didn't ever happen, but
Yeah.
I just can't remember him just like torching the Niners and that being the reason they won.
I want to say he had a pretty bit or a long touchdown one of the playoff games you guys played against them.
But I think we beat him, right?
Yeah, you beat him.
Yeah,
But I can't like when I think of DK Metcalf, I can't really think of one play in particular or any really big play that he's been a part of.
Right.
I think when I think of DK Metcalf, I think of him chasing down Buda Baker.
That's funny. That is one of his biggest highlights, which is, I mean kind of cool, but
it's
like
impressive. But it's like
that's not really what you want to be remembered
you
as.
making a tackle as a wide receiver is your biggest play that people know. It's like
not sure that's the best thing.
Well, and also he's known for being just a physical specimen.
Right.
It'd be funny if Metcalf and Lockett went to the Raiders with Pete Carroll. Huh?
That would be funny.
It'd be kind of funny. The Eagles extend Saquon Barkley for 2 more years, $41 million, makes him the highest paid quarterback, and it just gets worse for the New York Football Giants. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a lot of money, and he is getting a little bit older. But
right.
I mean, geez, he just came off arguably one of the greatest running back seasons of all time.
I mean, the Niners did the same thing with McCaffrey right after his big year. Yikes!
So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, no, I mean, he deserves it. He at least he got the ring, you know.
Yeah. McCaffrey was close.
Yeah, McCaffrey was close, but Saquon had a phenomenal season, so no issues with that.
No, the Raiders extend Max Crosby for 3 years, $106 million, making him the highest paid non-quarterback. That's some serious cash.
It's funny because there was like talk about him maybe being traded at points last year. Mm-hmm. Him saying things like I love being with the Raiders, but I want to win, and the
Raiders don't really win.
Yeah, so
I like this for him because he kind of embodies like what the Raiders want to be.
Yeah,
like just silver and black, tough,
rugged.
Doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
well, he must really like what Pete Carroll's selling because I don't think.
Yeah, that's got to be a factor.
It's got to be a factor because I don't know why else you'd want to stay at the Raiders. I'm sure. I mean, you talk about Mark Davis plenty of times. You don't have to get into it. But he must like Pete Carroll and what he's saying because, well, obviously money talks as well. It's a lot of money.
Right.
It's a lot of money. But do I think somebody else could have paid him this much too on a different team? Maybe.
Very possible. Yeah.
We'll just see. And, the Raiders are trying to get a quarterback, try to get a young quarterback, I assume, who they want to pay for a few years. So this, they kind of are able to do something like this.
Just kind of makes you think that's like definitively going to be the route. Like they're not gonna go after
like Russell Wilson.
Yeah, Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers.
Are they just going to make
maybe not even Sam Darnold?
Are they going to make the Raiders just the Las Vegas Seahawks? Bring DK, Tyler Lockett, Russell Wilson. Maybe bring Marshawn out.
Trade for Geno.
Geno Smith is just not the guy.
He's not it. He's not it.
Yeah, I mean he didn't write back, but he's not the guy. When he hit the Steph night against the Niners, that was fantastic.
Pretty good.
That was really good.
Still missed the playoffs.
And could you help me with this? It's my Cowboys. But
this is one of the great names in football right now. Osa Odigizua.
Thank you. 4 years, $80 million.
Back with the boys.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Speaking of the Cowboys,
saw Dak had a little restructure.
Yeah, him and CD got their contracts restructured.
Oh, I didn't know CD did.
So the Cowboys had $56 million towards free agency. So I'm interested to see how Jerry Jones fucks that up. Just saying.
JJ Watt coming back.
Yeah, just saying. And also Zach Martin retired.
Yep, that's true.
That's a huge shot to the offensive line.
Yeah.
He had 9 All-Pro selections and only 7 holding penalties called in his career.
That's crazy.
Great Cowboy.
In what, 10 seasons or whatever? 9, 10 seasons?
Yeah, I think, 9 or 10 seasons.
Yeah.
Great career. I mean, I know we throw around Hall of Fame all the time these days, but he'll probably get it.
He'll be in, yeah.
And he got picked instead of Johnny Manziel. And Jerry Jones, thank you for doing that at the least.
That was a good pick.
That was a good pick.
Yeah.
But it just, you hate to see a guy who, at least for this franchise, did so much and was always there, not even be able to make it to like the pinnacle game. Not let alone not win it.
Yeah.
But just even make it.
Right.
Same guys. I think of like Tyron Smith too, like that kind of thing. Those guys were just front line.
Yeah.
Put it all out there, and it just didn't really make it.
Yeah.
Make it work. But
Great careers,
I'd rock a Zach Martin jersey, number 70. That'd be tough, dude. Mm-hmm. People would be like, damn, he's rocking a lineman's jersey. It's like, yeah, it's serious over here.
It's serious over here.
So congrats to Zach Martin.
Yeah.
You know, it's a tough position to play offensive line. If I can imagine.
Yeah.
You know, actually, when I played football for like half a year for the Saints, I was a center.
Really?
Yeah, so I know what it's like on the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what it's like to have some dude's hand up your butt.
Right. Which is really funny. I'm like thinking to myself now, like, I'm not built like a center. I guess back then I kind of was.
You're a unit.
Yeah. Let's see, a little NBA All-Star Weekend. Did you watch anything?
So was that a little family gathering, and the game was on, but the volume wasn't on, so didn't really hear any of the BS that was going on. But I watched. I did feel.
Did you watch the? You probably were working, but you didn't watch like any like the competitions and stuff the day prior. Or is that what you're talking about?
No. I didn't watch. Yeah, no. I'm sorry. I was talking about the game itself. I kind of just, out of the corner of my eye, caught some of it, but no, I wasn't really watching it intently.
So the Cavs won the skills challenge. Funny little note that Wemby and Chris Paul got disqualified because
yes, they fucking rigged the.
They kind of rigged it, so like they figured out that if you have to take some kind of shots until you make it, but if you miss them all, then you can just move on.
Yeah.
So what they did is, and people know this by now, they just threw the balls.
Yeah.
They didn't even really attempt a shot,
right.
So they can just go as quick as they can.
Yeah.
And they did go through it quicker than anybody else, but it's because they kind of cheated the system.
Right.
I loved it. Some people didn't like it. I'm like, it's
well,
like this All-Star Weekend sucks anyways.
Right.
Like, to me, I thought it was funny.
I think it's funny, but at the same time, I'm okay with them being disqualified because it's
I do agree with that,
the sportsmanship thing.
But I'm not gonna be like, oh, this is Chris Paul, classic.
Yeah,
Chris
getting
Paul.
mad about it, that's lame.
I'm not gonna get mad about it, because they're like, oh yeah, the NBA didn't like this anyways because the All-Star Weekend sucks. But it's like it had nothing to do with it.
Right.
If anything, that probably brought more eyes to it because people were like, oh, this is kind of funny. At least in my opinion. Tyler Hero. Oh no, so the Cavs win the skills challenge. I said that, yeah. Yep. Tyler Hero wins the 3-point contest. Dame Lillard did not go 3 in a row, which he tried.
Yeah, I forgot that he'd won the previous 2.
Matt McClung wins his 3rd straight dunk contest. He's not in the league.
Isn't that crazy?
Wins his 3rd straight dunk contest, and he can dunk, man.
Yeah, he's got some hops, no doubt.
Dude,
I was really scared for him on that last one where he jumped over the car and clipped his foot.
Yeah,
I was like,
I think a lot of people, and I didn't notice it real time either. Like he did clip his foot.
Yeah,
like it could have been bad.
Yeah,
but that's he made Blake Griffin's dunk over the car.
Oh yeah,
look like silly.
Yeah,
because he went over the top of the car and like reversed it. It was insane. Because even when I remember when Blake Griffin did it, I was watching it live. And he did it, and I'm like, this is...
corny
still impressive, because I wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you jumped over the hood, but over the headlights of the hood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like where it kind of goes down.
Right, yeah.
Like Matt McClung fully jumped over the car.
He jumped over
and reversed it.
Yeah.
Or like a reverse down.
Right.
So it's impressive.
I still, we haven't seen anyone good since Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon. Those are my 2 favorite dunk contest guys since I've been watching dunk contests.
Yeah, it's because to me the 3-point contest is still the best part of.
Well, it has overtaken the dunk contest for sure.
But Matt McClung has kind of brought it back, but I agree he doesn't have anybody who. Oh, Joey
Chargers
Bosa.
just released Joey Bosa.
He's going.
Snuck it in.
Going to the Niners.
That'd be funny. I remember seeing a tweet recently. It was like, if the Niners sign Joey Bosa, I will stop taking this franchise seriously.
I know it'd be a little bit of a Cowboys move.
It would.
So we'll see. I think I had said previously that I wanted to go to the All-Star game.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I did.
Oh, yeah, and I've heard the ticket prices were outrageous.
Well, obviously that, but TNT dragged it on too long.
I think my experience of not having the volume on made it actually watchable because it sounds like the shit that was going on, that when they were stopping the game was just
they kept stopping stuff in between the little mini games they were having. I'm like, what are they doing right now? You can't wait to do this until after.
Yeah,
or the beginning.
It was really confusing
can you tape this?
Yeah, right.
It
was really confusing in the last. I think it was the quote unquote championship game. They after like a few minutes of gameplay, they just stopped, right? And they did that whole thing that took like 15 minutes or whatever it was.
And they're giving the TNT guys their flowers, which they deserve. But do you have to do it like right then and there?
Right. You couldn't do that before or after the game?
I don't. Yeah, I just. Even the players were like, dude, can we get this going?
Yeah, a lot of them were just standing around, and it was like, what's going on?
Yeah, because like,
especially with like not being able to hear it, I was like, what the fuck is happening?
And I'm sure basketball players don't like playing, stopping for a long time, and playing again. Like
right.
I've always heard that's a recipe for getting hurt.
Well, yeah, it's bad for the muscles. But I thought though the format made the players play a little more defense.
Okay.
Than I've seen in recent years. Mm-hmm. Not that it was great, but I felt like I saw more defense being played than usual. But regardless, there's still a lot of things wrong with the All-Star game. And it is, to me, as simple as the players have to care more. And I can't realistically expect them to, because for one, we've gotten to this point where they don't already. And two, like, it's a meaningless game,
Well, here's the thing. I think they need to stop fucking around, and they just need to go east-west, like almost embrace the suck. Just let the game be what it always was, and it's gonna stink. We all know it, but just stop like doing too much with it.
Yeah,
getting too cute with it.
Well,
making it confusing for people who have no idea, and maybe who don't know what's going on.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. I think they probably felt obligated to try something because it has gotten so bad. I mean, like, what was it, 2 or 3 years ago, one of the teams scored 200 points?
Yeah.
Which is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, they both scored like over 190 or
yeah, which is pretty ridiculous. But, I hear you. Like, maybe just keep it the way it is, or the way it's always been, and, the players will do what they do.
Yeah, it's... Like, they were big losers that weekend. Like people, like sports talk radio was just ripping these guys. And it's like, if they don't want to play, they don't really want to play.
Right.
And also LeBron James taking the picture with all the guys when he wasn't in
and not being in uniform, that was pretty
at least put the uniform on.
I agree.
Like
I agree.
Don't play if you don't want.
I want to know when he actually announced that he wasn't going to play. I don't know if I heard that.
I think it was pretty...
Like day of?
Yeah, I think so.
That's pretty fucking
It just looks stupid. Like, It was such a great looking picture. It had a bunch of really good players. You got LeBron right in the middle with some with some joggers and some Air Force Ones.
Yeah, that was pretty weak.
That was
really
stupid.
Weak.
Just throw the uniform on.
Yeah, you didn't have to. I didn't care that he didn't play.
Yeah,
but I agree with you. That whole thing was stupid.
Or honestly, like just throw the uniform on and sit on the bench. No one's gonna tell you have to play. You're LeBron James.
Right.
No coach is like LeBron. I need you out there.
Yeah, or go in for like 2 minutes and dunk, and then get the fuck out of the game.
Yeah. That picture's gonna be around forever, and it's just I feel like he's gonna look back and be like, man, I probably should have put the uniform on.
Yeah.
Right. It's because you've seen the picture, right?
Yeah.
It just looks dumb. It looks stupid.
I don't actually think I've seen the picture, but I've seen like the footage of them taking the picture. Yeah.
Like the NBA should just Photoshop him out.
Honestly.
I mean, I love LeBron James. I'm a LeBron guy, but like, come on, bro, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we
stupid.
doing here? What else we got here? Yeah, so that's All-Star Weekend. Not great, but we have to talk about it.
Hey, Steph MVP, let's go, baby. That half-court shot he hit was pretty smooth.
That was pretty smooth.
and then he tried it again off the dribble, and it was not good. I don't know if you saw that one.
No, I definitely saw the first one. I don't think I saw the second one. Bummer news out of San Antonio. Victor Wembanyama will miss the rest of the year with blood clot issues in his right shoulder. So, scary stuff.
It's a bummer.
This is kind of what Chris Bosh had dealt with and had to retire from early.
I think his situation was a little more serious, yeah. But yeah, not great. But it sounds like, he's going to be good to go for next year.
Yeah, hate to see it because he was having such a good year.
Yeah.
But, he's still so young and you got to get it right.
And so, if I'm not mistaken, this happened over the All-Star break. Because he didn't play after the All-Star. He played in the game and then didn't play after that. And then they announced that he was not going to return this year.
Yeah.
So kind of weird.
It's a bummer, but hopefully he comes back next year and...
Dominates.
He dominates, for sure.
With your boy Foxy?
No, not De'Aaron Fox. Greg Popovich, speaking of San Antonio, will not return to the sidelines for the Spurs. His future remains uncertain. I guess he's still recovering from a stroke that he suffered back in November. That's a bummer. Yeah, he's old.
Yeah, he's getting up there.
I just don't think he wants... I mean, unless this is like really severe, I think he sees who he has, and really wants to try to stretch out his career as long as
Well, yeah, you would think that, he's kind of getting... He got lucky by the fact that they got Wemby, and he probably wants to take advantage of that. But,
Exactly.
he's got to think about it, his personal health first. And so...
And Greg Popovich, you see him on the sidelines, and he kind of has like this hard exterior.
Yeah.
But then when you hear him talk, you know he's a genuine guy.
Right.
So you really hope for a speedy recovery and hope. I just hope that next year we see Wemby and Greg Popovich back on the sidelines.
I'm 100% with you. It is funny too, like you mentioned, Pop's like image, and I feel like growing up too, like when I first started getting into basketball, he was kind of thought of as like the grumpy, coach.
Kind of like I've always compared the Spurs to the Patriots, and like him and Belichick always had that like that kind of same attitude, like I'm all about the game,
Right.
I don't want to talk to anybody,
And not super like friendly with the media. He definitely lightened up though over the last I would say 10 years.
Yeah, he's definitely got a little softer.
Yeah, and he's got a sense of humor.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think everyone's rooting for Pop.
And I imagine Greg Popovich has told the Spurs of who he wants to be his predecessor.
Yeah.
Or successor.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. The interim coach is Mitch Johnson, who played for Stanford back in the day.
Oh, really?
With Brooke Lopez and Robin Lopez, Twin Towers.
Go Cardinals.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid out for the rest of the year. Shocking due to ongoing issues with his left knee. Embiid has already acknowledged that he may need surgery. I think
Trust the process, dude.
I think the process is done.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah, they're cooked. He's cooked. It sucks because he's an immensely talented player, but he's had this for his whole career.
And he's got MVP out of it. Some people dispute if he should have gotten it, but hey, he's got it.
He got it. I think he was a deserved MVP. I just think Jokic probably deserved it more that year, but he put up an amazing season.
I mean, Joel Embiid is only 30.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still somewhat young, I would think, for now NBA standards.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he has injury history.
I saw a crazy stat, and it was an article that was written, I think, a couple weeks ago, or about a week ago. Don't quote me. No, don't do it.
Almost did.
And it was he has played in 452 games in his career out of a possible 902. So basically exactly half, which is insane.
I think the most mind-blowing thing, I mean, that's a mind-blowing stat.
Yeah.
That's probably more mind-blowing than what I'm about to say. But he has never even made a conference final.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to be that dude, if you're going to be Mr. Trust the Process.
I mean, isn't he the only NBA MVP to never make it to a conference final?
Ooh, I don't know that, but
I want to say it's...
You could be right. I would believe it if you told me that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
I don't know that for a fact, but...
I mean, speedy recovery and I hope that things can change for the better. But based off what we've seen so far, I don't really have that much hope.
Yeah.
Because sure, he could have this, have surgery and come back in like a year and a half or whatever, however long it takes, and play. But he's kind of like he's almost like street clothes, Anthony Davis.
Yeah. And odds are like he may not be the same player that he was before. It's a bummer.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sixers fans. Right. Actually, fuck Philly, dude. I don't give a fuck about them. Don't feel bad. I feel bad for him, but not for Philly fans.
No, I don't either.
No.
Not at all. Who I do feel bad for more than I already do, Dallas Maverick fans. I mean, I do feel bad for Dallas fans because I am a Dallas fan.
Yeah.
But Kyrie Irving tore his ACL out for the rest of the season. Actually happened against my Sacramento Kings.
Yeah.
And saw the slow motion replay of it, and you could see the quad kind of pop, and then he hyperextends his knee going down. But watching it live, like real time, it looked so much worse.
Yeah.
Anytime you see anybody hyperextend the knee, you're like, oh man, that looks pretty bad. So it's
him shooting the free throws reminded me of Clay in the finals.
Yeah, or when Kobe tore his ACL against the Warriors.
Too,
It sucks. I mean, he's now obviously the guy, or
for them, yeah, 100%.
And I mean, when it rains, it pours for the Mavericks fans, right?
Dude,
you get rid of Luka.
Dude,
first game, Anthony Davis is balling out, and then gets hurt. Has been out since, and then Kyrie Irving, this happens.
You couldn't have wrote a dirtier script for the
Seriously.
Mavs.
like what other team has this happened to like this? It's so bad.
Hey, we're gonna trade one of the best players in the world away for a broke ass former superstar.
Champion though.
Champion. Sorry.
But and did you send us something that said that they're raising the prices of their tickets?
Yeah.
It's like, where do you get off at? It's like, come on.
That was the day that Kyrie got hurt.
It's ridiculous.
Insane.
I've heard on the radio, and I never thought about this, but Klay Thompson's probably like, dude, what did I walk into?
Yeah, should have never left, Klay.
Yeah,
should have never left.
He's like, to start the year, he walks in like, rating Western Conference champs, Luka, Kyrie, the works, and now he's like, is he now the guy?
Right. Dude, they have nobody right now. I don't know if you've seen their injury list.
Nobody.
But like Gafford's out, Lively's out, Kyrie. PJ Washington's out.
Yeah, all I know is if you go on Prize Picks and take the over on Klay Thompson's shots.
Yeah, right.
Because the uptick is going to be insane. It's Mavericks fans, man. I'm sorry.
That is just like the most brutal turn of events.
I think you can say for the first time in a long time that it's harder to be a Mavericks fan right now than it is a Cowboys fan.
It's right there, man. It's right there.
It's right there.
The only thing that Kyrie's going to have a long recovery, so next year may not be great, but they do have an interesting future with. It's going to be short-lived with him and AD. Yeah. So there's something there, but next year might not even be the year. So
I expect Kyrie to make a full speedy recovery because I think he does. I want to say he's vegan and that kind of thing, so I think he takes really good care of his body. Like really cares about his body. So I fully expect him to try everything that he can to make it clean and.
Might need to start taking some more iron supplements.
Yeah, maybe. My Sacramento Kings, a little update. They play the Nuggets tonight in Denver. Let's check the score of that real quick.
I was heading into the fourth quarter and they had a 5-point lead, I believe.
Yeah, you think so, huh?
They got off to a good start and
6:47 left in the fourth. Kings are up by 2, 98-96.
Oh boy.
And they're
toit.
They're in Denver, elevation. It's always something, so we'll see what happens.
Yep.
But they've won 4 straight. They're 8-4 since the Fox trade. Yeah,
that's not what I would have expected, but yeah, good for them.
Neither would I. They are currently 8th in the West entering tonight. You want to try to get 6.
Right.
Because that means you're automatically in the playoffs instead of the 7 through 10, which is the play-in tournament.
Right.
1 game behind your Warriors for the 6th seed, and 4 games above the 11th seed Suns, who, did you see they had a really good comeback win last night?
Yeah, I caught the very tail end of that game.
Kevin Durant had a hell of a fourth quarter, I'll tell you that. Because they were down 21 point. And even one of the Van Gundy brothers was like, what are we doing on defense right now for the Suns? Because they weren't doing anything.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I kind of kept my eye off the TV because I was like, this game's over. And then they made the comeback.
Got back in it.
So you got to give it to the Suns. But they are, for the firepower that they have, and they're not good on defense, you would expect them to be...
Oh, they're totally underperforming.
In the Western Conference.
Yeah, totally underperforming.
Yeah. Your Warriors, they've won 7 out of their last 8. They're 9-1. In the JB3 era.
The JB3.
And they are
Jimmy
6 in the
Buckets.
West entering tonight. They're a game and a half lead that they have over the Timberwolves. It's completely changed their season.
It's insane.
Jimmy Butler trade.
I mean, they don't have a bunch of great wins in this time that Jimmy Butler's been on the team. But
last night was a good one.
That's like probably their best.
No Karl Anthony Towns, but hey, you got to play who's in front of you.
Exactly.
Knicks are still a good team.
I would say that's probably their best win. They beat Dallas before all the injuries, but yeah, I mean, they weren't beating good, even the average teams regularly before Jimmy Butler showed up. So I think it's a good sign.
Yeah, you got to be a little bit surprised that it's been going this good.
I didn't think it would look like this, but looking back after being 9-1 now with Jimmy Butler in the lineup, it makes sense. I mean, he is not a guy that plays near the perimeter. I mean, he can score at all 3 levels, but he definitely does most of his work in the paint, which the Warriors don't really have anyone that does that. And he's also a guy who can take the ball and say, "I'm going to go get a bucket," which outside of Steph Curry, they didn't have that before. So I think it's making sense, and they Steph and Jimmy have opened each other's games up tremendously, and it's been fun to watch. And yeah, it's great. I think before I really buy in, I got to see them beat some good teams. I got to see how they play against like Denver because Jokic always gives them trouble.
Yeah.
Got to see them play against the new look Lakers who are on a tear. Obviously, OKC they've beaten OKC a couple times this season, so I would almost say I'm not worried about them, but
yeah,
I think they match up a little better with OKC than some of those bigger teams.
I mean, you guys' next 3 games: Nets, Pistons, Blazers. Those are
winnable.
That's not
Pistons are playing good ball, but yeah.
I mean, you play the Kings. That'll be a good
Kings.
game.
That's next week, right?
Yeah, you guys have Kings, Knicks, Nuggets, Bucks.
That'll be a good test. That'll be a good test.
Those are all going to be home games.
Good barometer.
All home games for you guys.
That'll be cool. Yeah.
You guys are on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 game homestand after the Nets game.
Nice. Yeah, they've been playing almost solely on the road since Butler showed up.
So the Kings, Knicks, Nuggets, Bucks. If you guys can win
half of those,
oh yeah,
I'd take that.
Yeah, 3, yeah.
Yeah.
You want 3 and 2 would be.
Yeah, that'd be great. Especially like beating either Milwaukee or Denver would be nice. Hard to beat the Knicks, but maybe to do it with Cat in the lineup, that might be a little more of a boost.
You guys play in Miami, March 25th.
Oh boy,
movie. Love that.
It's crazy. This was just like 2 or 3 days ago. The 6 through 10 slot in the West was separated by half of a game.
Yeah. There's still 20 games left.
There's
we're not going to know we cannot guess what's going to happen.
No, and you got Dallas sitting 10, even though they're not that far out. They're probably going to start to tailspin. You would think, with all these injuries, might open the door for Phoenix, who's a little ways back, but should be interesting to watch down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, my Kings, your Warriors are, obviously Warriors are in the 6th seed, but those teams are both trying to fight for that 6th seed, trying to get that automatic playoff bid.
Right.
On to contender rankings.
Let's go, baby.
I gotta say, I like mine a little more than I did 3 weeks ago. I still,
I wish we could have had someone else on this week to do theirs, like we had with Sal last week.
Didn't Danny want to be on here?
Yeah, he does. He's got his classes on Wednesdays.
Now. Oh, because he says Thursday. He can be like, Tuesday to Thursdays. That's right. We'll get him on soon.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. Gotta go find this doc. So, my top 4 is unchanged. I have Celtics still at number 1, Thunder number 2, Cavs at 3, and Nuggets at 4. I think the only reason I still have Cleveland, even though I maybe think more highly of them than the Thunder, is that I don't love their chances against Boston, and that would be the matchup to get to the finals.
Yeah.
So I think so even though, them could be interchangeable with Thunder, I put the Thunder above them because I like their chances of getting to the finals, I guess, a little bit better. Mm-hmm. Nuggets still at 4, like I said. Up to number 5, they got the Lakers, who, like I mentioned earlier, are on a tear right now. The LeBron-Luka thing. Luka's not even shooting the ball good right now, and they're winning games.
Yeah. Are they the 2 seed?
They're number 2 in the West right now.
They're the 2 seed in the West.
Isn't that crazy?
Now. It is crazy.
I didn't see it looking this good this quickly. Yeah. I mean, both him and LeBron are obviously very intelligent and versatile players. I just didn't think that they'd be good enough defensively. I didn't think they'd be able to, rebound the ball well enough, but they're doing all of it right now.
Luka's all of a sudden looking skinny.
Yeah, right? Just like that.
Just like that. Isn't it weird how that works?
It's funny.
He's looking skinny all of a sudden.
Hitting that LA Ozempic.
The Lakers are flourishing, and the Mavericks are just downfalling quickly.
Yeah. And my last team, I actually dropped the Grizzlies off my list. They're not playing great lately. I think they're winning this game, if I'm not mistaken, against the Thunder. But haven't been playing great lately. And even before, I thought they were kind of a fringe contender to begin with. I still got the Knicks at 6, just because I could see Boston or Cleveland slipping up and maybe the Knicks sneaking in somehow. But even them, I'm like, I barely have them on my list. Not ready to put the Warriors in there, but they're knocking on the door.
Yeah.
They're ringing that bell.
So our top 5 are the same, which is a different top 5 than I had 3 weeks ago.
Okay. Same order?
Yeah, same order and everything.
Gotcha.
Like I said 3 weeks ago, I'm not even really gonna. The first one for me was just kind of threw it out there.
Gotcha.
Last minute. I'm not even gonna count that one.
Okay, fair enough.
But at 6, I'm putting your Warriors.
You're doing it.
I'm doing it.
I love it
because I think it's working out so well it's surprisingly well. And I think Steph Curry, I mean, I've never really said I've hated Steph Curry, but the man is amazing. The 50 burger in Orlando, ridiculous. Could I see the Warriors? Could I see Steph Curry leading them to the championship this year? I could. Because I saw it. You guys are only 3 years removed from a championship.
Yeah,
I know
it's not that long ago.
Not long ago. I know that was the past, but it's not that long ago.
Yeah.
Let's not forget.
And you could argue this team might be just as deep and have a better second player than that team did.
I'm just saying. And it's probably kind of high and might be prisoner of the moment, but what I'm seeing from the Warriors right now, you can't deny it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm surprised you didn't put the Warriors.
Yeah, well, like I said, I got to see them play some of the bigger teams and some of the better teams in the league before I'm totally on board.
Yeah.
But they're not going to do it.
I got the Knicks at 7. Do I really think they can win it? No. Do I kind of think they're what the Sixers have been, not being able to make it to the championship?
Yeah.
A little bit.
That's fair.
And then 8, I put Memphis, but I don't really believe it. I just put them there because they are playing well. They do have a good point differential. Yeah, 6 point differential.
That's pretty good.
They
are actually losing this game. I was mistaken.
Yeah.
But
4 seed in the West. I just don't. Anybody else? I don't really feel like the East. It's tough. Like maybe Milwaukee.
Yeah, Milwaukee's a stretch. I feel like they haven't done enough to build around Giannis.
Yeah.
Over the last couple of years.
So I think my biggest surprise is probably the Warriors because what I'm seeing. I've seen this story before. I kind of know how this ends.
Yeah.
And would it completely shock me if they made it to the championship? Or like at least made it to the finals?
Yeah.
It would.
It's hard to imagine like making such a big trade like that in the middle of the season and it resulting in a championship.
Yeah.
But
well, we know
I'm not going to say it's impossible.
Playoff Jimmy. With Steph? I mean, come on.
I'm excited to see what happens. I said before, he played any games that it felt like their ceiling had gone from basically maybe getting through the play-in to being a second-round team. I'm starting to think maybe they could steal their way into the conference champion.
I'm starting to
finals.
think I'm back. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I could have easily switched Lakers-Warriors because the Lakers seem like they're really, really top-heavy. Like two really great players, but a little too top-heavy. I do think the Warriors are a little deeper.
Yeah. And
have two good players. So it could be either. I could swap them either way.
Yeah. I think, I do believe right now, you put Steph LeBron versus Jimmy Butler and Steph. Sorry, Luka LeBron versus Jimmy Butler and Steph. Just those two guys. I think you're taking the Laker guys. Just those two guys by themselves, right? Yeah. It's not a huge gap, but I think that's what you'd probably go with. But I agree. I think the Warriors do have a little better role players and bench. Austin Reeves, though, is playing some nice ball.
Yeah, he is. He's been shooting it lights out.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And with that, it's already time for the last call. Can you believe it?
Let's get it, baby.
The last call. Thank you, Jalen Ramsey. You tell me. Oh man.
Who got who had?
I'm sure he wishes that video was deleted from the face of the earth.
I got a good one that I'm going to use at some point.
They fucking killed him.
That guy is so bad.
He's horrible. He's so bad, he's amazing.
That's a good one.
So bad, it's good.
That's a good one. Yo, they fucking killed him.
Next time there's a blowout that's notable, that's coming out.
Can I get it one more time? I just need one more time.
Yo, they fucking killed him.
I feel like I clipped it perfectly.
That's perfect. That's good. That's really good. Yeah, it's
yo, they fucking in that dirty Philly accent too.
Yeah, they're so dirty. That was good. That was real good. You got some stuff, don't you?
You know what I smell?
What?
Baseball. It's around the corner. Spring training. It's underway.
Okay.
Willie Adames hit a bomb today for the Giants. Mm-hmm. I don't like to get excited about spring training baseball, but it's nice to see. The Giants are going to stink this year. That's okay, though. It's okay.
Are they?
Got good things to look forward to, regardless. I mean, probably. I don't have high hopes.
What the fuck is this shit?
I got reserved expectations.
Reserved expectations?
Yeah.
Okay. The fuck is this? I don't want to add a
What happened?
Being dumb.
Did you lose your notes?
No. I clicked something and I don't know what to do.
Well, looks like you're fucked. I do have. Well, I'll say this. No, I'll start here. So Alex Ovechkin scored a goal tonight. He's now 9 goals away from tying Wayne Gretzky's all-time goals record, 10 away from breaking it.
Which you had a bold prediction.
Yep. 20 games left in the season for the Capitals, which gives him a pretty good shot to do it. Less than half a goal per game.
You said that in 2020. It's a pretty good poll.
The fact that it was 5 years ago now makes me feel better about it because I was thinking it was more recent. I was like, it probably could have guessed this was going to happen. But yeah, no, he's on pace to do it this year, which is awesome. One thing I found out recently, very interesting.
What's that?
So Austin Matthews, superstar for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
American born, of course. I think he was born in like Scottsdale, Arizona. Super random for a hockey player, but nonetheless, he is on, oddly enough, a better goal scoring pace at this time of his career than Alex Ovechkin was.
Wow.
So
how old is he?
So he's 27.
Okay.
So
we're looking like 15 years down the line.
We're a ways away, yeah. Because Ovi's 39.
Do you want to call it now so it looks good later?
Yeah, sure, yeah. I'm not going to make a bold prediction about it, but I just think it's pretty cool that so Alex Ovechkin started his career one year older than Austin Matthews. Matthews was 19 in his first season. Ovechkin was 20. But they played to that point about the same amount of games. So in 601 games, their first 601 games, Ovechkin had 371 career goals at that point. Matthews 388.
Wow.
Okay. And I was kind of thinking, like, is this guy going to get to 500 career goals before the age of 30, which is very possible. He's got about two plus seasons to go, and he's at 390 now.
Did Ovechkin do that?
Ovechkin did not.
I'm sure Gretzky did.
I would think Gretzky probably did, yeah. Which is so it's looking very possible, wow. And just him being in the you can never guarantee that a guy's gonna have an Ovechkin type career where he's just a goal scoring phenom for year after year after year, putting up 50, 45, 50 every year. But the fact that he's put himself in the conversation at this point, like he's in year 9 now or year 8,
and he's American,
which is also very cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. Other interesting note about Austin Matthews and Alex Ovechkin. Both born on September 17th.
Wow.
Both 6'3". Both drafted number 1 overall in their respective drafts.
Wow.
So
when did you figure that out?
Went down a rabbit hole.
Wow.
And happened to look at both their pages on Hockey Reference on the same day. Found out they had the same birthday, which is fucking weird. But if you want to have a goal-scoring phenom of a kid, make sure he's born on September 17th.
There we go. That's really funny.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
But I'm excited for Ovechkin to break that record. I think he's going to do it this year. Hopefully, it would be cool if he did in the last game of the regular season. Yeah.
And has he played more seasons than Gretzky did?
No, I don't think so. I think he's probably getting close, but I don't believe so.
So it's not going to be like he played 5 more seasons than Gretzky and passed it.
No. And I think regardless, Ovechkin already should be considered the better all-time goal scorer, considering the eras that they played in.
Okay.
Gretzky played in a much more, offensive-friendly, era, if you will.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's... So, yeah, Ovechkin's in year number 20. I believe Gretzky played, 21 or 22.
Oh, okay.
Let's get the facts.
Do you think if he breaks it this year, he hangs him up?
Okay, so Gretzky played in exactly 20.
Okay.
Yeah. It's funny because he's having, another prolific goal-scoring year, and the Capitals are really good.
Oh, okay.
so I could see him keep
Why not, right?
Yeah.
Nice, good for him.
Especially if he doesn't get to 900, because it's getting, Gretzky's record is 894. So he probably wants to get to 900. I could see him not getting there this year, but still breaking it.
1,000's probably a little out of reach.
1,000 would be a stretch, yeah. He'd probably need like 3 more years to do that, realistically.
I bet you can get closer and closer. Mm-hmm. March Madness, right around the corner. Are we going to do a bracket?
We're doing a bracket for sure, so I'll definitely make sure everyone is informed. We're probably not going to do an episode between now and the time that it starts, though. So just keep your eyes open on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I'll send text
we'll
out
reach
to
out
people I know as well.
Did you watch any college basketball over the last 3 weeks?
No.
I actually did. I couldn't tell you the games, but I definitely watched a little bit.
I definitely have had it like on, but not like intently watching. As we always say, it's a tough watch.
It is a tough watch.
But it's crazy. I don't know if you've noticed the rankings, but like 8 of the top 10 teams are from the fucking SEC right now. It may not be 8, but it's like at least 6.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah. And at one point, I think it was 4 out of the top 5 teams, which is ridiculous. But
my Sacramento Kings are currently losing by 4 with 37 left. Not looking good. Not looking good. I want to mention one more thing. ESPN show, Around the Horn.
Yeah, it's going to go.
Having its final show May 23rd after 23 years of being on air. It's a good run.
Yeah. It's interesting because the reports were coming out like late last year that it was going to end like at the end of 2024.
I remember that too, yeah.
And then it kept going. I was like, okay, maybe that was just false reporting.
So it sucks. And like, I've always been an Around the Horn guy. I mean, obviously PTI is like the better show.
Yeah.
And that's Around the Horn. If you're familiar, it's a show that's on 2 o'clock our time before Pardon the Interruption or PTI.
Right.
And I've always thought it was fun.
I still watch it.
Yeah, I like to watch it. So it's sad that it's got to go. I mean, PTI, I'm assuming, is still going to be on.
Yeah.
Now, I wonder what they're going to do with that 2 o'clock slot.
So I read that temporarily it's just going to be SportsCenter, and then they'll go to PTI. But I think they want to find a different show to slot it in. Yeah.
I mean, big shoes to fill. In all seriousness,
I'm kind of curious why they're just shutting it down without having something that they're planning to replace it with that they think is better.
Yeah, it's ESPN.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they're probably gonna. I mean, Tony Reality's gonna be gone, right? And he's been the host since day one, if I'm not mistaken.
No, Max Kellerman actually hosted day one, I think.
Did he really? Okay.
I think.
But he's been the host for a long time.
Reality's been there probably for like at least 20 of the 23.
Right.
So he's been there for a really long time.
Yeah. I didn't know that Kellerman was doing that. That's funny.
Yeah.
Kellerman's been all around the block.
I know.
I don't even know what he does anymore. Does he still just do boxing stuff?
He probably has a podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Who doesn't?
Right?
Podcast guys saying who doesn't?
Yeah. I mean, they should. I always like. I mean, they're not going to bring any of these back, but I always liked the Dan Le Batard show.
That wasn't too bad.
With his dad.
It was goofy, yeah.
His dad was goofy. Yeah. Also, I loved Jalen and Jacoby.
Jalen and Jacoby was good.
I thought that was a good show.
I mean, that was just like a highlight of their podcast, right?
It might have been.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good show.
Yeah.
I thought they had good.
I think
good
David Jacoby has a different show that he's doing with some guys that I don't recognize. But,
yeah, I just don't know where ESPN's gonna go in the meantime.
They'll probably force someone like Pablo Torre or I'm trying to think of someone else in the mix to just come up with a show idea,
or like Mina
Kimes,
yeah, something like that. That's a good call.
Yeah,
just make it good.
Yep, it probably won't be, but it won't be as good as Around the Horn.
No, but I think it should be some kind of like Around the Horn idea. Like I don't want it to be like NFL Live or some shit.
No, yeah.
I'm tired of NFL Live. I love the NFL, but I'm tired of watching NFL Live.
Yeah, and even like NBA Today is exhausting. You can listen to fucking Kendrick Perkins and Richard Jefferson.
Yeah, unless they decide to put like the Stephen A. Smith's like best of show. Like
I could see that actually. Yeah. That would be the inexpensive way to go about it.
Right.
Yeah, the great thing about Around the Horn is it was just like quick fire opinions.
Yeah. I think would be good because the TNT guys are going to ESPN, correct?
Well, they're gonna like air it on ESPN, I guess, after certain games or something like that.
Okay. Yeah. I think it'd be funny to do like an NBA type show with those 4 guys for half an hour.
That would be cool. That's actually a fantastic idea.
I think it could be good.
Yeah. Yeah, so for some reason they're not. I don't think they're technically going to be contracted by ESPN during the whole thing. Yeah. But
I'm sure they wouldn't want to work that much. But I think it'd be good content.
Yeah, it would be.
So ESPN, pay me. I got the ideas for
I
you.
got the ideas. All right, thanks y'all for tuning in. We'll see you probably in a few weeks.
Yes.
We'll be back for some more contender rankings and NBA recap and all that good stuff. See you next time.
Peace.
Peace.